Hey there, welcome back to the channel. Picture this. You're 65, maybe a little north of that, and life's throwing you some curveballs you didn't see coming. You wander into the living room to grab your glasses, only to stand there, blank-faced, asking yourself, wait, what was I after? Or, you're deep in a chat with your buddy about last weekend's game, and halfway through a sentence, bam, your brain stalls out. The next play you were about to describe? Vanished. The clever point you were building up to? Swallowed by a thick, frustrating fog. Ever had that happen? If you're nodding right now, don't sweat it. You're in good company. That fuzzy, sluggish feeling sneaking into your days isn't just a random annoyance. It's your mind waving a little flag, saying, hey, something's off here. But here's the kicker. You don't have to wave back and say, oh well, guess that's it for me. Not a chance. What if I told you one tiny, ridiculously easy swap in your daily routine could blow that fog right out of the water and keep your brain firing like it's 20 years younger? No fancy gadgets, no doctor's orders, just a single move you can make tomorrow morning. Stick with me, because this is about to get real and real good. If you're ready to shove brain fog out the door and step back into your sharpest self, let's jump in. Oh, and if you're new around here, hit that subscribe button and tap the bell. You won't want to miss what's coming. Let's do this. Let's set the scene. It's morning, the sun's barely up, and you're dragging yourself out of bed, feeling like your head's packed with wet socks. You stumble to the kitchen, eyes half open, and what's your first move? You beeline for the coffee pot, don't you? It's muscle memory at this point. Scoop the grounds, pour the water, wait for that glorious drip, drip, drip. You take that first sip, and boom, there's the jolt. Your heart picks up, your brain flickers on, and for a little while, you're golden. You're thinking, all right, I'm awake, I'm alive, I can handle today. But then, like clockwork, an hour or two ticks by, and that spark fizzles. The buzz fades, your focus blurs, and that foggy feeling creeps back in, heavier than ever. By noon, you're slogging through molasses, maybe even eyeing the pot for round 2 or 3 just to stay upright. Sound like your day? If it does, you're not alone. Most folks over 65 clutch coffee like it's their ticket to survival, the magic elixir that'll pull them through the morning and beyond. And I get it. Coffee's more than a drink. It's a ritual, a warm little security blanket. But here's the twist. That trusty mug might be quietly sabotaging your mental edge, one sip at a time. Let's peel back the curtain on this, because it's not just about that post-coffee crash you're probably all too familiar with. Coffee's caffeine is a sprinter. It rockets through your system, lights everything up, and then bolts before you can say, refill. Sure, it wakes you up, but it's a flash in the pan. Studies are starting to pile up, and they're not shy about it. Too much coffee can throw your sleep out of whack, even if you cut off at lunch, jack up your stress levels, and, brace yourself, actually shrink parts of your brain over time. Yep, you heard me right. Research has tied heavy coffee habits to a drop in gray matter, the stuff that keeps your memory sharp and your thoughts crisp. So while you're chugging that third cup to chase away the fog, you might be paving the way for a denser haze years down the line. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not here to storm your kitchens and smash your coffee maker. I'd never dream of coming between you and that sacred brew. But if you're leaning on it every single day, multiple times a day, just to feel semi-functional, it's worth a hard look. Is this really doing you favors? Or is it time to switch gears? Here's where the good stuff kicks in. What if tomorrow morning you sidestep that coffee pot and reach for something different? Something that doesn't just slap you awake but keeps your brain humming smoothly, hour after hour, no dips, no dives? Say hello to green tea, your new secret weapon. I can already hear the skepticism. Tea? Come on, that's it? Yep. And before you tune out, let me tell you why this isn't just some trendy nonsense you'd see in a yoga studio. Green tea's packing a double whammy that coffee can't touch. A perfect combo of caffeine and L-theanine. That caffeine? It's lighter than coffee's, clocking in at about 30 to 50 milligrams a cup compared to coffee's 100 plus, enough to nudge you awake without slamming you into overdrive. And L-theanine? That's the game changer. It's an amino acid that takes the caffeine's rough edges and smooths them out, delivering a calm, steady energy that sticks around. Think of coffee as a rickety old scooter. Fast start, bumpy ride, quick stall. Green tea's a sleek electric bike, quiet, consistent, and it just keeps going. You sip it, and instead of your pulse pounding like a drum solo, your brain settles into a groove. Clear, focused, fog-free. Let's walk through what this feels like, because it's one thing to hear it, another to picture it. You're at the kitchen table, maybe skimming the news or jotting down a grocery list. With coffee, you'd get that initial zap, great for 20 minutes, then slump back into a daze, rereading the same sentence 5 times because it won't stick. Green tea's a different story. That first sip eases you in, gentle but sure. An hour later, you're still locked in, writing that list without second-guessing every item. By late morning, you're chatting with a friend or tackling a Sudoku puzzle, and your mind's right there. No stumbles, no wait, what was I saying? Hiccups. It's like someone flipped a switch from dim to bright, and the room, your head stays lit. That's not fluff, that's science backing it up. Studies show L-theanine ramps up alpha brainwaves, the ones tied to that sweet spot of relaxed focus, like when you're lost in a good book and time just melts away. Add in green tea's antioxidants, which shield your brain cells from the grind of aging, and you've got a combo that's less about a quick fix and more about a lasting lift. Now let's zoom in on why this matters, especially once you've hit 65 or beyond. Your brain's a veteran. It's clocked decades of late nights, tough calls, maybe a few too many holiday feasts or glasses of Pinot. That fog you're wrestling with, it's not just bad luck. It's your mind tapping you on the shoulder, whispering, "I'm a little tapped out here, give me a hand." Coffee's like a sugar rush for your brain, fast, fun, and gone before you know it, leaving you scrambling for the next hit. Green tea's a slow burn, a steady partner. Those antioxidants I keep mentioning, catechins, they're like tiny janitors, sweeping away the inflammation and oxidative gunk that builds up over years, the stuff that clogs your memory and slows your thinking. L-theanine dials down cortisol, so you're not frying your wiring every time the phone rings or the neighbor's dog won't quit barking. And that lighter caffeine? It's keeping your neurons buzzing without blowing a fuse. It's a 3-pronged attack on fog, all wrapped up in one little cup. Still hanging with me? Awesome, because this is where it hits home. Think about the last time that fog rolled in thick. Maybe you were trying to recall your cousin's new address and it just wouldn't surface. Or you sat down to sort out your bills, and 15 minutes later, you're staring at the same number, lost. My pal Susan, she's 67, felt this hard. She's a retired librarian, used to have every book's spot memorized, but a couple years back, the haze started settling in. She'd forget mid-story where she was going, laugh it off with, "Oh, senior moment," but it wasn't funny anymore. Coffee was her lifeline. 3 cups before lunch, easy. When I floated this green tea idea, she smirked. "I'm not sipping leaves," she said, but she was fed up enough to try. Swapped her morning brew, kept her noon coffee as a compromise. First day, she shrugged. Nothing wild. By day 4, she was finishing conversations without drifting. A month later, she was back to her old self, organizing book club like a boss, no notes needed. "I didn't realize how fuzzy I'd gotten," she told me, and you could hear the spark back in her voice. That's the shift we're after. Not just a band-aid, but you. Fully lit up again. So, how do you jump in? It's so simple, you'll kick yourself for not starting sooner. Tomorrow, when you wake up, skip the coffee pot, just for now. Boil some water, grab a green tea bag, any decent one will do, though if you're feeling fancy, snag some sencha or jasmine for a smoother sip. Steep it 2 minutes tops, unless you're into bitter vibes. Not sold on the taste? Toss in a swirl of honey, a squeeze of lemon, maybe a dash of ginger, make it yours. Sip it slow, let it wake you up, and tune in. No crash by 10, no shaky hands. That's the L-theanine weaving its magic. If coffee's your ride or die, don't panic. Ease in. Swap just 1 cup, maybe that mid-morning refill, and keep your afternoon ritual. This isn't about ditching what you love, it's about sneaking in something that loves you back, something that lifts you without letting you fall. Let's stretch this out a bit, because this isn't just about today, it's about tomorrow, next year, a decade from now. By 65, your brain's got stories. Big wins, hard knocks, late nights you don't regret, and some you might. That's a beautiful thing, but it's also wear and tear. That fog isn't a coincidence, it's the mileage showing. Coffee's a quick patch, like duct tape on a leaky pipe. Works for a sec, but the drip's coming back. Green tea's a full overhaul. Those catechins, they're scrubbing the rust off your brain, fighting the slow creep of damage that dims your recall. L-theanine's keeping your stress hormones on a leash so you're not short-circuiting every time life gets loud. And that steady caffeine? It's premium fuel. Clean, smooth, no junk gumming up the works. You're not just dodging fog today. You're fortifying your mind for the long game, keeping it tough and nimble for whatever's ahead. Not convinced yet? Let's get real with another story. My Uncle Mike, he's 69, a retired electrician who could wire a house blindfolded. Or he used to. Last year he started slipping, forgetting which breaker he'd just flipped, staring at his toolbox like it was a puzzle. Coffee was his backbone, 4 cups by noon, black as tar. But it wasn't holding him up anymore. His hands shook, his head clouded. Doc said his brain was fine, just overstretched, too much caffeine, not enough calm. I nudged him toward green tea, 1 cup to start. He grumbled, called it fancy water, but he tried it. A week in, he was sleeping deeper, waking steadier. 2 months later, he was back in his shed, rewiring old radios for fun, no more blank stares. I thought I was losing it, he said, but this stuff pulled me back. That's what we're talking here. 1 swap, 1 shot at reclaiming your edge. Let's make this practical, because you're not here for daydreams, you want action. Tomorrow, when that coffee pot beckons, take a beat. Boil water instead. Pick a tea. Matcha's bold if you're adventurous, a basic bag if you're keeping it low-key. Steep it right, sip it slow, feel it out. Did you glide past breakfast without a dip? Did that 11 a.m. slump ghost you? Jot it down, your brain's the judge. If the flavor's meh, jazz it up. Honey, citrus, a sprinkle of spice. Make it a vibe, not a task. And if coffee's your soulmate, don't break up. Swap 1 cup, maybe that afternoon drag, and test the waters. This is your call, your tweak, your win. Here's the bigger lens. This isn't about one trick fixing everything. It's about tilting the odds your way. At 65, you're not slowing down, you're revving up. You've got trips to plan, grandkids to outwit, hobbies you've been itching to dust off. That fog, it's a pickpocket, snagging your clarity. Green tea's your muscle, shoving it out and locking up. Picture this. A month from now, you're at a reunion, nailing every name, keeping up with the banter, no what'd you say blanks. Or you're knee-deep in a project, knitting, woodworking, whatever fires you up, and your brain's right there. No lag, no drift. That's not a pipe dream. That's what happens when you feed your mind what it's starving for, 1 swap at a time. And hey, nobody's asking for perfection. Maybe the taste throws you. Too green, too weird. Cool, try a different blend. Start with a splash. Maybe you blank tomorrow and brew coffee anyway. No sweat, hit it Thursday. This isn't a race, it's a nudge. But don't sleep on it too long because those foggy spells, they're not just quirks, they're hints. Brush them off and they stack up. Bigger gaps, tougher days. 1 cup won't turn you into a genius, but it'll keep you you. Remember your sharpest moment, nailing a trivia night, outsmarting your GPS, whatever. That fire's still flickering. Green tea's the oxygen, bringing it back to a blaze. So what's your play? Tomorrow when coffee calls, sidestep it. Boil water, grab tea, take a sip, see where it lands. Drop a comment. Did it click? Did the fog lift? I'm all in to hear it. If this vibes, smash that like, subscribe, and holler I'm in below. Let's keep this rolling. Your brain's worth it. Catch you next time.